week, we will continue to examine the communication of mental health information in close relationships. Specifically, we are going to begin our discussion looking at one specific response strategy that was discussed last week, which is, of course, social support. This week, we will examine social support as a concept, the importance of social support in health communication, and some specific communication strategies that are used to provide social support. So let's begin. When it comes to communicating health information, we know that much of health communication doesn't occur in healthcare settings. Instead, it happens within our personal relationships with our romantic partners, our family members, and our friends. Often, when we consider this type of health communication, we are referring to social support about our health. Social support is essentially communication that serves the purpose of helping others. More formally, social support is defined as behaviors that communicate to an individual that he or she is valued and cared for by others. Social support includes a broad range of activities, from comforting a friend after a romantic disappointment, to listening while a grieving father tells and retells his story, to performing an internet search, to acknowledging that a handicapped individual is a normal person. Each of these examples represents a specific form or type of support that I will discuss over the course of this lecture. First, let's review two specific theories that are used to understand social support in close relationships. First, the buffering hypothesis suggests that social support is most important when we encounter potentially stressful experiences. In these cases, knowing that there are people in our lives to support us can help cushion or buffer the negative effects of the stressful experience, such as feelings of helplessness or feeling overwhelmed. The buffering process is likely to be especially meaningful if the support offered matches the support you feel you need. For example, if say someone is stressed about a bad grade on an exam or paper, let's say that if after talking to their parents about the issue, the parent, without asking the child first, goes and calls the professor about the grade. This may be considered too far or an inappropriate form of support for this situation. Instead, this support behavior may actually add stress to the child, not buffer it. A type of support that may better match the context could be to listen and let the child vent and ask them what strategies they could do to improve their grade in the course or do better on the next exam. The second theory, the direct main effect model, proposes that social support is beneficial even when we aren't encountering notable stress. Instead, this theory suggests that having a strong social network that we perceive is there to help us in times of need can help us feel valued every day. According to this theory, it isn't necessarily the actual reception of support that is important. Instead, just knowing the support is there when we need it can help us feel less stress every day. In other words, when we perceive that we would have support when we need it, we tend to not sweat the small stuff or are less affected by smaller disappointments in our lives. Now that we have an understanding about how social support may improve or buffer our experience of stress, let's turn to look at the different kinds of support we can give and receive in our personal relationships. Types of social support can be divided into three categories: nurturing support, social networks, and action facilitating support. Nurturing support includes types of support that focus on helping people feel better about themselves and their situations. This category of support includes esteem support and emotional support. Esteem support involves efforts to make another person feel valued and competent. Esteem support can help ease feelings of helplessness and despair, as well as help people feel their feelings are validated. Emotional support includes efforts to acknowledge and understand what another person is feeling. This support is particularly valuable when people must adapt to what they cannot change. Emotional support helps people understand that emotions are a natural part of coping with health issues. The second category of social support is social networks. Social networks often includes family members and friends. However, in the event of managing a health condition, support groups are another way to expand one's social network to help cope. Social groups are made up of people with similar concerns who meet regularly to discuss their feelings and experiences. Support groups can be beneficial because they bring together similar others who may help people feel less alone or isolated in their health experience. Support groups may also provide information about what to expect and how to behave in relation to their health condition. Finally, the experiences in a support group may help people feel better communicate about their health condition to others outside of the group, which may lead to them receiving other types of social support. The last category of social support is action facilitating support. This category includes two types of support: informational support and instrumental support. Informational support includes help provided to complete tasks such as a favor. For example, if I need help driving to my doctor's appointments and my friend does that for me, this would be instrumental support. Instrumental support is most appreciated when the receiver feels they have active involvement in the decision making around the support help. In other words, this type of support involves assisting in tasks, not taking over the task completely. Informational support involves behaviors that help provide information to somebody about their health condition. For example, in support groups, information about how to best cope with a condition or the best doctors to see is often shared. This type of support is important for helping people increase their understanding of their health condition and make them well-informed decision makers. Social support is inherently a communicative act. However, it also helps facilitate many other important communication processes that impact our health. For example, one of the central functions of social support is to increase a person's sense of control. In other words, people cope best when they feel well-informed and actively involved in managing their health. Specifically, one purpose of social support is to increase the person's self-efficacy. In the context of mental health, health self-efficacy occurs when people are aware of how to best manage their condition and they are confident in their ability to make changes that have positive consequences. A sense of health self-efficacy involves a high sense of control over the health condition, which often comes from the encouragement from others or social support. Coping strategies and social support often look very much alike. Coping is defined as the process of managing stressful situations. While social support is one strategy that may be used to manage a stressful situation, it is not the only one. Thus, social support is one of many ways in which people engage in coping. Coping usually involves two efforts: changing what can be changed, problem solving, and adapting to what cannot be changed, emotional adjustment or adjusting to the context. These two efforts align with the types of coping we just discussed, as well as are influenced by our self-efficacy. Finally, social support is important for reducing people's uncertainty about their health conditions. For example, informational support may help decrease a person's uncertainty about their illness and treatment options. Also, research shows that as health uncertainty decreases, health self-efficacy increases. Thus, as one learns more about their health condition, they are better able to manage that condition. Also, in the case of support groups, others' actions can serve as informative guides to help manage their behavior, especially in intense and uncertain times. In short, when we are better able to manage our health conditions, we know that can have a huge impact on our physical and mental health. When thinking about health communication, we talk about social support because there are several reasons that link social ties to good health. One is that we learn from others and develop confidence through our interactions. When we have positive experiences and role models of health, then we are more likely to develop confidence and positive strategies for managing our own health. Second, there are physical benefits that are associated with strong social ties and access to strong social support. For example, resting blood pressure and blood glucose levels are lower among people who express a great deal of affection compared to those who don't. Similarly, shared humor, an example of emotional support, boosts immunity and other health benefits. Third, loved ones may support us in making healthy decisions, such as going to the doctor when they notice we are experiencing symptoms of a mental condition. Further, instrumental support may help us engage in these health decisions. Finally, studies show that an increase of perceived social support, or the perception that we have access to close others who can support us, has been linked to decreased loneliness. Furthermore, less loneliness is reported to be associated with the healthier outcomes. In conclusion, there are many forms of social support, and social support is very important for managing our general health, but also when managing a specific health condition such as mental health. Although we see these links, it is important to remember that the quality of social support is important. Next week, we will examine what happens when social support doesn't go well.